Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Natalie Milom, the dope trauma therapist. And today I am here to talk to some specific folks, okay? I am here to talk to the people who are always holding it down, the high achievers, the leaders, the couples who love each other, but you stay missing each other. On the outside, y'all look good. On the inside, though, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're drained, you're snapping on each other way quicker than you want to be, right? At work, you're holding it together, you're achieving by the world standards, like you are that man, you are that woman, right? You're that chick. However, on the inside, you are really just falling apart, right? Like you're falling apart. So, I want to talk to you about therapy intensives today because sometimes you just don't have time for therapy once a week for, 45 minutes, 53 minutes, an hour. You just don't have time for that. So, therapy intensives offer longer focus sessions where we get to slow things down enough for you to actually get to the root, actually get underneath what's causing all of that inner turmoil for you. So, intentions are typically for people who are trying to work through things like childhood trauma. Maybe you're working through the stress of racism and having to always be on guard, having to always, feeling like you got to work twice as hard than your peers who may not be black, right? You might be feeling burnt out from just always being the strong one. And then maybe you're dealing with success that came with a whole lot of sacrifice. And for couples, that could look like, you're trying to break out of the same arguments that feel like they are on repeat. Maybe you're trying to understand why small stuff tends to turn into really big blow ups. Maybe you're trying to heal some past relationship injuries. Maybe there's been some infidelity. Maybe you've had times when you've been, depending on your partner to do something and they kind of left you, right? And you feel dropped. You feel like you weren't held well. Maybe you're just trying to learn how to actually hear each other instead of staying on the defense. So, who are these intensives for? Again, they might be for people who are just high achieving professionals who stay pushing through, right? It's also for Black folks who are navigating trauma while still trying to show up for everybody else. It's also for couples who love each other, but you just feel emotionally disconnected. Maybe you just constantly are feeling on guard, or maybe you're just feeling stuck. Sometimes partners are dealing with trust issues, right? Sometimes you're just dealing with constant conflict. And then also folks who have been in therapy before, but feel like you're still circling around that same stuff. And you feel just like you're stuck, you're blocked, you can't figure out how to move through it. So if you're tired of talking about your problems and you are really ready to shift them, then this work is actually for you. So, people tend to ask me like, well, what is it? How does it work? Okay. So in intensives, I'm using both EMDR and emotionally focused therapy to help both individuals and couples to get unstuck. So first of all, what we're doing is we're helping your nervous system be able to release what you've been holding on to for years and sometimes decades. In couples work, we're slowing the cycle down. We're helping you to understand what's really happening underneath the arguments that you're having, and we're creating space for safety. We're creating space for closeness, and we're creating space for real connection again. So the work is really trauma informed, it's culturally responsive. It is really centered on co-creating safety, and it's also centered on consent. We're not going to go faster than what you and your nervous system needs. We're going to honor your nervous system and we're going to honor your relationship. We're not rushing anything, right? Real healing is not rushed, right? But we're going to co create the conditions for you to be able to heal. All right. So you can actually have intensives in person. So my offices are in Atlanta. I also have an office in Athens. And then for all of my Cali folks, I have an office in Long Beach and an office in East LA and Pasadena. So we're intentional with what works for you guys because I know that y'all are busy, right? But you're healing and you still deserve the space. Okay. So we want to be able to schedule around what works for you. We can again do it virtually. We can do it online. I love doing it in person though, but I'm flexible to meet you where you are. So If you are a high achiever who is emotionally exhausted, if you're a partner and a couple that loves each other, but y'all are continuously missing each other, and if you're ready to stop surviving individually and relationally, right? You're ready to start thriving, then therapy intensives might be your next move. So head on over to my website, dopetraumatherapist.com, just to see if this work feels aligned with you. Okay, healing is not about doing more. You don't need to do anything more than what you already have done, right? You're already successful. You're doing a lot of things, but this is about slowing down and really being. Okay. All right. I look forward to working with you guys.